Yeah, that's right.
Sure, in a world that's constantly changing, how can I be sure where I stand with you? Whenever I'm away from you, I wanna die, 'cause you know I wanna stay with you. How do I know? Maybe you're trying to use me. Flying too high can confuse me. Touch me, but don't take me down. Whenever I'm away from you, my alibi is telling people I don't care for you. Maybe I'm just hanging around with my head upside down. It's a pity I can't seem to find someone who's as pretty and lovely as you. How can I be sure? I really wanna know. I really wanna know. How's the weather? Whether or not we're together, we'll see it much better. I love you forever. You know where I can be found. How can I be sure in a world that's constantly changing? How can I be sure I'll be sure with you?
We can be sure that was from 1967, and if I don't know my dates, Eddie Brigati from the Rascals will tell us what I don't know already. So, Eddie, thanks for being part of the Teddy Smith 6-year reunion show here at WPAT, along with Jim Petrecca, who produced the show.
Hey, Teddy, this is Eddie. It happened in 1967, and it's many keys ago.
Many keys ago, that's right, but those keys are still moving along with the great things that you're doing today that you've done before.
Yeah, the story goes on, the stories go on, and we're storytellers, basically. There's other names for us. But basically, we got together and told stories and have an incredible history, starting with Brother Dave. Dave, I'm sure you had the pleasure of jousting with Dave.
No, actually, Ralph Romeo did tonight on his show right before mine. I heard the whole interview. It's terrific. Great interview, Ralph. Yeah, terrific, Dave Brigati, your brother. And there's so many great historical moments in your life and the life of those people from the Rascals, from the group.
Yes. It's an anthology of music. If you just you don't even editorialize about it, you just put the songs together, and Dave comes in with an a cappella group and develops 6 songs on Decca Records. As a teenager, I guess he was 1958 and 17, and then he affiliated Joey and Dave, Joey D, at the beginning of the 1960s. And that was actually, that was my training ground. My older brother, it was my idol. And we really, I call it a co-biography.
Right, that's a good way of putting it. When did you first meet Felix Cavalieri? When did that take place?
The Choo Choo Club in Garfield, New Jersey. Felix came in with a band called the Escorts. Mm-hmm. And that was probably 1963, because I just finished high school. I graduated high school in Garfield High School in 1963, and Felix came in, and he's just this soulful Italian, wonderful singer, and, I was allowed to stay in this bar. We had cousins, they were cousins of ours, so being underage and stuff like that, they let me come in and watch Wednesday auditions. And,
I like auditions. I was never good at them, but I like them.
I did one last night with Stephen Van Zandt.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're doing work with Stephen Van Zandt right now, aren't you?
Yeah, he's my hero. He's probably the best producer of the Rascal catalog in history. He produced that wonderful show we had.
Of course, on Broadway. Yeah, got some of the best.
We did Broadway. Yeah, I never dreamed, that we'd do it. And then Broadway on top of it was the cherry on top of the icing of the cherry.
What was your great moment with Steve on the on Broadway, being on that great show that you did with him?
Well, he gave it full. He's a brilliant musician. He's a very generous person. He's a strong advocate of education for children. I just did a thing on in Long Island, the Long Island Music Hall of Fame, and I presented to Johnny Farina, who's another dear friend of mine, ours, and Stephen Vai was there and blew me away. He played with Johnny Farina. It's on YouTube. Everybody can go look at it. And he played Sleepwalk, which is the national anthem for the Italians, the steel Italian contingent. But it was wonderful, and Stephen was awarded also, and he was awarded for his educational contributions. And he's a lot of people talk about giving it back and putting it back. Stephen puts it back plus, and he did it, and he's my mentor. He's really he gave us the best production ever, and he spared nothing, incredible amounts of money, but his genius, his perspective, his writing capabilities, it was the highest I've ever performed in, and we did a great run. We did 71 shows, and we did a couple weeks on Broadway, and I'm still working. He's still working on me, with me, to me, for me, and it's weird because he's asked me to he's asked me to learn a couple things from Broadway, and I never dreamed that I would be Broadway-ish.
How about your experience with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? That's a great thing.
Yeah, that was a momentous occasion. That was Stephen introduced us there, and he did this parody. He had our uniform on, and it's about time. And David Chase actually saw Stephen on there and drafted him into The Sopranos. So this is all history. I mean, sitting at a table with Stephen Vai and Johnny Farina and Stephen next to me, that's heady company that I dream to stay in their company, and it's a mutual admiration society. Well, and it's like, this is the height of you couldn't expect anything more, and at the same time they keep producing more.
It'd be great to have you and Stephen in here in the studio sometime, and part of the show, and we could go through all the history of rock and roll right here with you and Steve. And you'll drive. Yeah. Jim said he'll drive you in.
He's a tremendous historian, Stephen, and he really knows his facts, and he interweaves it. The garage, the underground garage, and he interweaves the real history with the television history, and he knows probably more than just about as much as anybody, let's say. He knows about the music business, and he's an advocate for keeping music and art in the schools. It's waning. They try to push it out. He's approached the Democrats, the Republicans of Congress, and when they said they couldn't help, he knew that he had to do something. And he's a do-something guy. And the whole attraction is wrapped up in a big, beautiful ball because he's also a renegade.
Right. How about the song "Groovin'" that you wrote about the Young Rascals? "Groovin'." That's one of the best around. And that too, yes. And you still do it well after all these years.
Oh, yeah. It's that, once you got 50 years to practice it should come natural.
Hey, can we hear that again?
The crows weren't in there. We had to take the crows out.
I see, something happened. All right, any last words of advice you'd like to give our audience out there, or about what you're doing in the next in 2017? We know you've done the thing on Broadway and you're doing that stuff with Steve. And anything else you want to share with us tonight?
Yeah, the philosophy of music. Okay, music is we liken it to the dance. Native Americans. Life is a dance that we're dancing through, and sometimes it's frenetic, and sometimes it's very beautiful. And music is an inspiration to everybody, everywhere, and it's interdimensional. It starts here and goes up into the ethers, and it inspires us to go on, to move on, to keep moving and lifting and rising and cooperating. As much as it's difficult for some people and circumstances, we do nothing alone.
Right. So, how would you like to wrap up this event tonight in terms of what you'd like to say about your career, your life, or the history of rock and roll, or just generally speaking about the 6 years that we've been here on this radio show?
Well, you're the catalyst. You guys keep the channels open, and people are attracted to it because you must be doing something right the last 6 years. Well,
we're trying, especially with these great new artists that we have in here that are going to sing here live on the radio tonight, and people like yourself, new artists, old artists, today's artists. Hey, everyone has something to share about their lives and about their music.
That brings me to, I'm at an open mic in Boonton, New Jersey. We have every third Friday. We get here, and the talent, the youth, the children, the whole community is positive. We just set up a stage and mics and everything, and it's all volunteer. You're all welcome to come and visit. But this last little thing I'm going to tell you, about 3 weeks ago, in honor of Frank Sinatra, two weeks ago, at his centennial, I never did Sinatra. I was too young, and he was very sophisticated, and he was older. Dave related more to him. But I channeled these songs, Send the Clowns, and we did a little medley. And naturally, you have to do two Rascals songs. I did Groovin' and How Can I Be Sure? And it's a different thing now. It's a different, I sing like an adult male. And Sinatra was a character, and I take that as a study. It's like I'm going in the gym, and Steven says that, I got these 7 Broadway songs, and I don't say no. I learn them to my surprise. I love them.
And Tony Danza and Karen King are sending the food over momentarily. We'll save you a sandwich, okay? At least 2 or 3.
Tony, Gumba, Carol, these are fellow and female felluses. What's the female of fellow? Fellow is a good generic term. But these are people. These are consistent relatives, and I encourage everybody to sing your song, create your music, play your instrument, express yourself, and do it with some other people that compliment you and inspire you. And it's a privilege for me to have this voice here, and I wish you many, many more years. And someday we'll have to get together and sit around and talk about more music.
That's good. Or come down to Delmonico's.
Okay.
Right around the corner. You can't miss it. Well, we're going to play Groovin', your song. Oh, but you have to do it live. He's got it? Now. Say.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jim Petrecca, Eddie Brigati, the Rascals here at WPAT. Thanks, Eddie.
Aloha.
On a Sunday afternoon, We're gonna talk and laugh all the time all day. I feel it coming closer day by day. Life will be ecstasy, you and me endlessly. On a Sunday afternoon.
I like grooving. I like strolling on a Sunday afternoon, especially if it's around Central Park or Asbury Park, New Jersey, or some happens to be someplace in California. Wherever it happens to be, I'm glad Eddie Brigati could join us tonight here at WPAT. It's with great privilege and pleasure to have